secret to a thriving relationship? Well, I'm Heather Shannon. I'm a certified sex therapist, and I have been helping people since 2006. So quite a while now. I've been in private practice and working with couples specifically since 2011. That's my cat, Rascal. He says hi. Come here, Rascal. Maybe he'll join us. But it's not rocket science in a sense, right? I think it's just what the secrets are not things that we're taught growing up. So one of them, not shockingly, is communication skills, right? And when we think about communication skills in a relationship, the number one thing that I see people struggle with is they jump ahead. They jump to conclusions. They assume things about their partner, and they try to solve things too soon. So there's this kind of not being present, right? I think a big piece of communication is being in this moment, right? What is your partner saying now? And so it's easier said than done. Like, we all kind of know this. I hear this from people all the time. We need to work with our communication. We need to be able to talk about sex better. We need to be able to resolve conflict better. Whatever it is, right? So working on those skills is number one, and that's something you can do in all your relationships. It doesn't have to be limited to only your romantic relationships. So it can be with your parents, with your coworkers, with your significant other, with your platonic friends, right? So I think it's important to, my cat, this is my cat. He's like literally crawling all over while I'm trying to record this. Communication would be very high up there. The other thing I want to talk about is appreciation. So this is what I think we have to train our brain to do, right? It's like when we're in a newer relationship, it's easy to be like, oh my God, they're so hot. They're so sexy. Oh my gosh, this is what they said to me. You know, they said this like super hot thing, or like they see me, they understand how I am, or like, oh, they're successful, or they're so smart, or they're a great dancer. And we're just thinking about like, wow, this person is so cool. Like, I feel so excited and so lucky that I met this person. And then we get to know them, and it's like, they're so messy. They didn't make the bed. They left the socks over here. You know? And it's like we find those things to pick apart. Or like, you know, they smoke weed more than I would like. Or like they're not working out that much. And we can nitpick, right? And that same set of amazing attributes that made us fall in love with them are still there. But now we're just more aware of some of their other attributes. And so which ones do we focus on? And basically, the more we focus on the things we appreciate, the more the person tends to lean into that, right? And the more we just happen to notice that. And so then we're having a much different qualitative experience of the relationship than if we're like, oh my gosh, like he didn't call, he didn't text, or he didn't do this, or, you know, they didn't do this, she didn't do that. It's like, okay. You know, no one is going to be perfect, but stay focused on those qualities that you most appreciate and communicate that, right? So that goes back to the communication piece. Communicate those qualities that you really appreciate and focus on the big picture stuff. Is this person kind to you? Does this person enhance your life in some important ways? Are they someone you like being around more than most people? Right? If you have kids together, are they a good parent? Do you respect them, you know, as a parent, or for what they do for work, or just how they treat people, or how they are with their family and their values, right? It's like, it's that big picture stuff that matters, and not these little nitpicky details that we can get really hung up on, right? And there's just not a human out there that doesn't come with a downside, right? I certainly do. Right? I can be kind of messy. I can be, you know, a little intense and dive into things intensely for a period of time, right? I can stay up too late, right? And so we have to realize that, like, we also have some qualities that are not perfect. We have to allow ourselves to be human, and we have to allow our partners to be human, and focus on that appreciation. So that's one secret. The other thing I will add, this one is important. So emotional mastery. This is just going to make your life better and all your relationships. and this has been a huge one for me personally too. Growing up, I felt like I was just very neurotic. My family didn't like talk about our emotions a lot, as most people's don't, right? I think it's changing now, but I think it's more the exception that we grew up with a family that was like very open about emotions and processing and being expressive like that. So we have to work on that on our own. And so for me, I kind of went from feeling more like shameful about emotions or like, ooh, this is scary to share this, to comforting myself, feeling secure in myself first and foremost, not looking to other people maybe to manage my emotions for me. This is an example from back in the day. I'm leaving work and I'm stressful from the day and just trying to like decompress. I'm going to call my boyfriend and like hope he kind of helps me decompress, right? And it seemed just like an innocuous type of thing, like, okay, harmless, or maybe it's even helpful. And then we broke up and I realized like, wow, I had been really dependent on him for that. And it wasn't even particularly effective. And I'm actually better at doing it for myself. And so I think part of emotional mastery is we own our own emotions. We do not make our partner responsible for our emotions. We can communicate our emotions to our partner, but we don't want to do it from a place of, you know, I'm emotionally reactive. I'm sort of on tilt, to use a poker term. I do internal family systems therapy. And so to kind of use a term from that, we're not like blended with a part. So maybe there's a part that's feeling anxious. We don't typically want to go to our partner when the anxiety has completely taken us over. We at least want to have like a kernel of self-awareness to be like, babe, I'm like super anxious right now. Would you mind just like holding me? We don't even have to talk. So you can make a request, right? That can be part of your emotional mastery, but you're doing it from the place of awareness. You're not doing it from like, so first take care of yourself, and then your partner, any support you get from your partner is secondary and just like an amazing bonus, right? So the difference there between support and sort of codependency is you're in charge of your own emotions first and foremost, right? And you can offer support to your partner as long as it's not harming you and you're not abandoning yourself, right? So if it's like, you know, I haven't worked out or eaten or done anything good for myself, but you're having a crisis, so I'm just going to suffer and sacrifice for you. If there's a lot of that going on, then you might want to reevaluate what's going on and maybe do some individual therapy or coaching or meditation groups or whatever does it for you. Okay, and then the last thing I want to say in terms of secrets for a thriving relationship is nurture it, right? We hear a lot about like, oh, relationships are work. And then we also hear a good relationship should be easy. And they're both true. So there should be some compatibility. It should be like there's something here fundamentally that lines up, right? And at the same time, you're still two humans and you have different backgrounds, and we come into this world and are programmed by our early experiences and family of origin, and then we get to choose, oh wait, maybe some of this programming doesn't work for me. Let me do some healing work. Let me find ways to lean into how I really want to be and think about who is the person I really want to be in this world. And I think it's the same thing with relationships, where there's got to be some like fundamentals there that line up, but then it's like, do I focus on appreciation? Do we schedule date nights and quality time together? Are we nurturing our sex life? Are we building our communication skills, right? And that's even when you're like super compatible. But I wouldn't look at it as work. I don't think looking at it as work is super helpful. I do think looking at it is like, this is a pretty precious, awesome connection that I have here. And I really want to like pour love into it and pour energy into it and nurture it. So I hope that's helpful. Subscribe and like this video. Feel free to comment. I do try to respond to all the comments. And thank you for checking out the channel.